Hi everyone, I hope everyone's doing great. Today I want to talk about 3 sunscreen mistakes that I've noticed people make. Let's begin. Mistake number 1. The number 1 mistake I noticed people making are not applying enough sunscreen. So we think that we're applying enough sunscreen, but it's very important to apply a recommended amount and make a thin film all over your face. What's the recommended amount? Generally speaking, it's recommended to use a quarter teaspoon for your face and neck, or people also recommend two-finger method. I personally don't like two-finger method because it really depends what kind of sunscreen it is you're applying. If it's a thin, watery sunscreen, the two-finger method, it's not enough. So I always recommend to use quarter teaspoon. A quarter teaspoon, you can actually measure it out. Take a teaspoon, take out the quarter teaspoon sunscreen, put it at the back of your hand, and then put some dots all over your face, and then you just gently rub it in. Don't rub in very harshly. What it does, it just creates a even film on your face, and that's what protects us from the UV radiation. Mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is not reapplying every 2 hours. It's very important that we reapply our sunscreen every 2 hours, not because the sunscreen becomes ineffective in 2 hours. I think some people think that, but it's mostly because after 2 hours, the film of sunscreen that we applied on our face becomes patchy. And there are spots missing where there is no sunscreen, especially if we sweat and if we are in water. So in order for sunscreen to be effective, it's very important that we reapply every 2 hours to make sure all the areas are evenly covered. You may notice if your makeup wear at the end of the day or a few hours later, your makeup does become patchy, it doesn't look as nice as in the beginning. That's the same thing with sunscreen. So make sure you reapply every 2 hours. Ideally, you should wash the face, but I know it's not very practical. So even if you apply on top of your existing sunscreen, it will still be effective. And now, mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is applying moisturizer on top of your sunscreen, and that's a big no-no. Some people, I learned that they apply their moisturizer on top of sunscreen, and we don't want to do that. Moisturizer should come before sunscreen. So sunscreen should be the last step in your skincare. So the order goes like this. First, you cleanse your face, whatever cleanser you want to use to wash your face. Number 2, you want to put on your skincare products, your serums, your toners, your skincare actives, whatever your skincare routine is. Number 3 is moisturizer. And after waiting a couple of minutes of applying moisturizer, the last step should be to apply sunscreen. So the sunscreen should always be last step, except in one case, which I'll talk about in a bit. But in general, do not apply anything on top of sunscreen. Everything goes before, because we want to apply an even layer of sunscreen that covers our skin and protects us from the UV radiation. Okay, so what's the exception to this rule? The only exception is if you're applying makeup on top. If you're someone who wears makeup regularly or once in a while you want to makeup, in that case, after you put on your sunscreen, you can put makeup on top. Again, the sunscreen still comes last in your skincare routine and the makeup goes on top. So you cleanse first, you put on your skincare actives or skincare, then moisturizer, and then your sunscreen. And if you want to put on makeup, you can put on makeup on top of that. I hope this was helpful. Bye.